Well, the U.S. Supreme Court is weighing the future of TikTok. The parent company of the wildly popular social media app is arguing against a law that's set to take effect in just over a week. Now, that law would ban companies like Google and Apple from distributing TikTok unless the Chinese owner, ByteDance, sells it off. The court will be weighing whether a ban on TikTok is a violation of the First Amendment right to first speech. The U.S. government believes the app's Chinese ownership poses a grave threat to national security. It says the app would be weaponized for covert influence operations. U.S. President-elect Donald Trump, however, has asked the court to extend the January 19th deadline. He says he wants to give his administration time to seek a negotiated resolution of this issue. Any ban would not apply to Canada. Well, some of you may know our next guest better by her TikTok account name, the Korean vegan. Joanne Molinaro is a content creator and influencer with nearly 3 million followers on the app. She joins us now from Los Angeles to offer that inside perspective, if you will, on the possible TikTok ban. Joanne, great to see you. Thank you for this.
Well, thank you for having me, Angie.
What's going through your head right now? I'm sure sort of the initial thought, and now we're a week away of a possible reality.
Yeah, I think my initial thoughts are, after listening to bits and pieces of the over 2-hour oral arguments in front of the Supreme Court, that if I were TikTok's lawyers, I would be telling them it's time to really start executing on Plan B. Hopefully they have a Plan B. And as a content creator or as a small business on TikTok, I would be thinking the exact same thing.
You have a legal background. So when you're talking about sort of mulling through all of those documents, which can be extremely complicated, you've sort of gotten a sense here in terms of, I guess, the direction they're going. Would this, in fact, and this is one of the arguments that's put out there, this ban be a violation of the First Amendment, as in this case, TikTok's lawyers are claiming?
Well, I think TikTok's lawyers did an excellent job in both the oral arguments as well as the legal briefs. I did read the legal briefs as well, in arguing that this would not just be a violation of TikTok's First Amendment rights, because remember, there is a U.S.-based subsidiary here who would theoretically be entitled to First Amendment rights, but also the, several hundreds of millions of users, the American users of TikTok, their First Amendment rights would also be violated. Unfortunately, I've seen, at least in the oral arguments, that at least a couple of the justices queried whether or not ByteDance, the foreign entity that owns TikTok, sort of obviates the need for any consideration of First Amendment arguments.
What about the security side of it? The argument now that's put forward in terms of this app could spy on American users or manipulate the platform to advance its own interests.
And there, I think that there is a little bit of disingenuousness. I'm actually borrowing a word that was used by at least another cybersecurity expert. There are a number of different ways that the Chinese state could spy on American app users, not just through TikTok. And there are a number of ways that they're probably already doing so. So to single out TikTok, again, a US-based subsidiary, seems a little bit arbitrary and perhaps draws into question their actual motivation.
Walk me through your choice, of course, to be on TikTok. And this is sort of a full-time job for you. You quit your initial job, and this has been a full-time job for you, as it is for many. But walk us through sort of, I guess, the argument of the importance, the influence. It's gone beyond just what started off as sort of a bit of a social media app. It has expanded into so many different things. Even here in news organizations, we use TikTok, when reporting and putting out our news pieces.
I think that's exactly right, Angie, that it has grown into something that nobody could have imagined back in 2019 and 2020 when it was just gaining some traction there. We have hundreds of millions of users on a daily basis. We have, billions of dollars added to the national GDP. We have hundreds of thousands of jobs added in just 2023 alone from creators and small businesses that started on TikTok. So we're not just talking about a bunch of influencers who are trying to sell their new skincare brand, which I think a lot of people think that's what TikTok is, but it's so much more than that. And for me personally, I became a consumer of TikTok in 2020 because of political speech. And that is the most important kind of speech that the First Amendment is designed to protect.
What then, if this goes through next week? What does it mean for you if this ban goes through? What do you think it's going to mean for other TikTok content creators, even those that are sort of just getting into this? What do you think it's going to mean for you guys overall?
I think that number one, it will mean a significant reduction to revenue. I mean, it's going to hit their financial bottom lines. And again, I want to stress the importance. These are small businesses. These are people who are trying to sell their little knickknacks and widgets and products. We're not talking about, celebrity wannabes. I think that's what sometimes people think. That's not what we're talking about. It's going to hit their bottom lines. It's certainly going to hit my bottom line. My hope is that as a content creator and small businesses are looking to diversify their business verticals to make sure that they're hedged against the absolute loss that they will feel as a result of TikTok being banned.
Before I let you go, what's your plan B?
My plan B is to write more books. I love writing. That's what actually, drew me away from the practice of law. And my hope is that I'll be able to write the next great American novel or something like that. Dream big or go home, right?
I love it. Well, we'll look out for that. Certainly, indeed, Joanne. Appreciate getting your insights here. We'll follow it very, very closely over the next few days or so. Maybe we'll have you come back and give us more reaction depending on what unfolds next week. Though we do know that the president-elect Donald Trump's looking to sort of push things back a little bit. So we'll see where those things land. Joanne, thank you so much for this. Joanne Molinaro, an American TikTok content creator, also known as the Korean vegan. Thank you so much for this.
Thanks, Angie.